The Young and the Restless reveals family secrets that are always the source of tension and constant conflict. One of the plots that is stirring up and making fans constantly eager is the story of Clare and the truth about her background, when Victor Newman, the head of the Newman family, begins to suspect something that no one expected. Is Clare really Victoria's biological daughter, or is she just part of an elaborate game that everyone in this family has tried to keep hidden? Victor Newman, the secret detector. It all started when Victor, a man who always puts his family's interests first, suddenly discovered some doubts about the relationship between Clare and the Newman family. Throughout the years, Clare has always been an indispensable part of the Newman family, but no one knows that her appearance here may not be a coincidence. The oddities in the conversations, the suspicious looks, and the lack of information about Clare's past make Victor suspicious. Unable to keep quiet in the face of his own suspicions, Victor decides to take a secret DNA test. This is a crazy decision for someone like Victor, who always keeps everything under control, but when something so important involves his family, he cannot stop searching for the truth. Hours pass tensely as Victor receives the test results. He cannot believe his eyes when he sees the results. Clare is not Victoria's daughter. This is an unimaginable shock, not only for him, but for the entire Newman family. Clare, the long-hidden secret. Things get even more complicated when Victor begins to wonder if Clare has known the truth all along. Although Clare was initially surprised by the revelation, her furtive glances and gestures made Victor suspect that she might have known about the relationship all along. No one could guess when Clare had known the truth and why she had chosen to remain silent. She might have known since she was a child, but she chose not to reveal it, for a reason that no one understood until now. Was it fear, a protection for her family, or simply a secret that could not be revealed? Victor could never accept the fact that the girl he once considered a daughter was not part of the Newman family. He felt betrayed and hurt more than ever when he realized that what he had built for so long might have been a big lie. Victoria, feeling cheated. Victor's daughter, Victoria, felt like she was stabbed in the heart when she learned the truth. She had spent her whole life protecting her family and maintaining the perfect image of Newman Enterprises. She loved Clare like a daughter and had created every opportunity for her to stand firm in this family. But when all she had ever believed was lies, Victoria felt an indescribable pain. She could not imagine that she would be so blatantly deceived, and from then on, she began to doubt everything around her. The relationship between her and Clare quickly became strained. Victoria could not forgive the lies that she felt like she had been deceived. She began to see Clare differently, not as a daughter, but as a stranger. Everything she had trusted for so long suddenly fell apart. Cole, confused by secrets. This story not only affects Victor and Victoria, but also makes Cole, who has always considered Clare an important person in his life, feel confused and bewildered. Cole cannot understand why everyone around him hides this truth, and why Clare has to live in such a shell. He feels abandoned and betrayed by the very people he trusted the most. Cole's love for Clare is now unclear. He does not know if he can continue to stand by her, when all he believes in seems to be lies. The feeling of betrayal begins to corrode their relationship, causing both of them to fall into a never-ending spiral. Predictable ending. Betrayal and aftermath. Once Victor learns the truth that Clare is not his granddaughter, he will not hesitate to make a tough decision: kick her out of Newman Enterprises. Not only is this a family matter, but it is a huge threat to all the secrets and business strategies that Newman has built up. If this information is leaked, not only Clare but the entire Newman family will be in danger. Once Victor learns the truth that Clare is not his granddaughter, he will not hesitate to make a tough decision: kick her out of Newman Enterprises. It is not simply a family matter, but a major threat to all the secrets and business strategies that Newman has built. If this information is exposed, not only Clare but the entire Newman family will be in danger. Victor cannot let this truth continue to exist in his family. He will do anything to hide this truth, including kicking Clare out of the family and making sure that no one knows what happened. With secrets exposed and betrayals between family members, the relationship between Clare, Victoria, and Victor will never be the same. Secrets, lies, and betrayals will continue to push the story further, creating tense struggles, important decisions, and inevitable consequences. Alarming discovery and collapsed relationships on the Young and the Restless. Every moment on the Young and the Restless brings unexpected twists and turns, but none compare to the recent events in the Newman household when Clare discovers a major secret involving Audra, a figure with great influence over the Newman family and business. This event not only threatens family relationships but also raises big questions about morality and power in the complex world of power plays. Shady encounter, Audra and Victor. It all begins when Audra, a scheming and daring woman, meets Victor Newman in a closed-door meeting. This meeting seems to be just a normal business discussion, but in reality, it hides much larger intrigue. Audra, with her confidence and executive ability, proposes a contract to Victor. However, the only condition for this deal to go through is that all the terms must be reviewed and approved by her lawyer. This makes things complicated, as Audra wants to make sure that every move she makes is legally protected. Audra believes that only with solid legal protection can she participate in the strategies that Victor is planning. And in such a situation, all control needs to be transferred to her, so that no one can threaten her plans. This is a sign that Audra is not just someone working for Newman, but that she may be part of a darker plot. Victor, trust and doubt. Victor Newman, who has always controlled everything in the family and the company, seems to have complete faith in Audra's abilities. When Audra mentions her plan to separate Kyle and Clare, Victor does not show any doubts. He believes she can handle this problem effectively. In Victor's mind, Audra is an important piece in his strategy, and her mission to separate Kyle and Clare is an indispensable part of his grand plan. However, behind that trust lies a truth that only Victor understands. He not only wants to use Audra, but also wants to maintain plausible deniability if things don't go according to plan. Everything in Victor's world must be calculated perfectly, with no room for error. Audra, no matter how talented, is just a piece in the game Victor is playing. Nikki, growing doubt. When Nikki Newman enters the room and witnesses the meeting between Victor and Audra, her doubts immediately increase. Nikki has long been distrustful of her husband's every move, and Audra's presence makes her feel even more uneasy. In fact, throughout their marriage, Victor has had secrets, shady encounters, and conspiracies that Nikki can't control. So when she sees the connection between Victor and Audra, she knows something is wrong. Nikki immediately questions Audra's true motives, and whether she is truly working for the benefit of the Newman family or has her own agenda. Nikki is a family-first person, and when she feels threatened from the outside, she will not hesitate to protect her family, whether it is her husband or her children. Victor's denial and internal struggles. After Audra leaves, Victor acts as if everything is fine. He tries to create a facade that he simply wants to use Audra's skills for his new company. However, the truth behind it is not so simple. Victor understands that everyone in the family may have doubts, but he cannot let those doubts get in the way of his plans. He wants everyone to believe that everything is just a logical step in a business strategy. However, although Victor tries to deny and appease Nikki, she is not easily convinced. Their relationship, despite having gone through many ups and downs, is now facing a major test. Nikki senses that something is going on behind her back and she cannot ignore it. She will continue to monitor Victor and Audra's every move, and an internal war is about to break out in the Newman family. Clare, the alarming discovery. In addition to the power struggle in the Newman family, Clare also makes an important discovery about Audra. Clare, as a part of this family, always believes that she can trust everyone, but she is unaware that there are dark conspiracies going on behind her back. When Clare discovers the relationship between Audra and Victor, she can't believe her eyes. The information Clare uncovers could change everything. Clare is not only facing the risk of being separated from Kyle, but also the fact that her family may be hiding a bigger plot that she is not aware of. She does not know if she can continue to trust Victor and her loved ones. Clare and Kyle's future, relationships falling apart. While everything around Clare is falling apart, her relationship with Kyle is also facing a big test. Outside plans to separate them may cause them to fall into a serious emotional crisis. Kyle, with his strong and determined personality, will not easily accept these changes. However, when love and career are both at stake, will they be able to maintain this relationship? Power, denial, and dark conspiracies. This story will continue to unfold, with intrigue, suspicion, and constant power struggles. Every decision Victor makes will have far-reaching implications for the Newman family, and no one can predict the final outcome. Audra's arrival is just one part of a larger plan, and the only question is whether these secrets will be exposed, or whether they will continue to be hidden to maintain power in the hands of the Newman family's founders. Clare and Kyle's relationship will never be the same, and one thing is certain, the Newman family will never be the same again. Each episode builds to a dramatic twist, and the story of Cole, Clare, Victoria, and the Newman family unfolds with secrets and complex relationships. In particular, Cole's return from a long-term business trip has created constant fluctuations in his relationship with Clare, Victoria, and Victor Newman, the head of the family. The sweet gifts from the trip seem to be a symbol of love and care, but are the starting point for intrigue and disappointment. This article will expand the story, exploring the emotional conflicts and power struggles in the Newman family. Cole returns from long-term business trip after a long absence. Cole finally returns to Genoa City after a trip to many countries, where he has been doing work evaluating the publishing branches of Newman Enterprises. The trip gave Cole a deeper insight into the family business, but it also left him feeling burdened by the time away from his family, especially Clare, whom he still loved. When Cole returned, he brought back not only important reports about the publishing branches, but also sweet gifts for Clare and Victoria. These gifts, though small but meaningful, were Cole's way of showing his care and love for the two important women in his life. For Clare, it was a gift that was a reminder of the trip, a symbol of his love for her, while Victoria also received gifts that brought a sense of friendliness and attachment. However, although these gifts may have warmed their hearts, none of the three could have predicted that what lay ahead would push their relationship into a more tense and complicated situation than ever before. Cole and Victor Newman update. Soon after reuniting with Clare and Victoria, Cole continues his journey by visiting the Newman family home, where Victor is waiting. There, Cole updates Victor on his trip, the highlights, and the results he has achieved from his work trip. However, this meeting is not just about work, but also opens up conversations about family relationships, especially Clare. Victor, who is always concerned about power and stability in the family, begins to mention Clare's growing closeness to Kyle. He cannot help but worry as he notices that Clare and Kyle's relationship is becoming more intimate, and cannot help but remind Cole that Clare's heart will be broken when this relationship ends, which will break his heart as well. Victor's words make Cole feel uncomfortable, and although he doesn't want to admit it, he's starting to feel insecure about his relationship with Clare. Victor has always been clear-headed and astute in his judgment of what's going on in the family, but this time, his warnings may be one of the factors that shake Cole's faith in Clare. Will Cole's love be strong enough to survive this test, or will he be overcome by doubts and worries? While Cole is dealing with his mixed emotions, Victor's wife Nikki brings Victoria and Clare another important piece of information. She informs them of a recent meeting between Victor and Audra, a meeting that, while initially seemingly insignificant, has major implications. Audra, a powerful influence in the Newman business world, has always kept her relationships private and powerful. Her meeting with Victor makes Nikki uneasy, and she decides to share this information with her daughter, Victoria, and Clare, so they can better understand what is going on in the family. The information Nikki reveals makes Clare begin to suspect Victor's intentions, especially when she realizes that it is not difficult to imagine that Victor could use Audra as a tool against Kyle and Jabot. Clare realizes Victor's plot after hearing Nikki's revelations. Clare begins to realize something important. Victor, despite being her father, is not afraid to use any means, including Audra, to achieve his goals. Clare cannot help but worry about the relationship between Kyle and the Newman family, and she begins to doubt whether things are really as they seem. Audra, an ambitious woman, has connections to powerful people in Newman, and she probably will not hesitate to follow Victor's orders to achieve her goals. Although Clare does not want to believe that Victor would do this to her, she cannot help but feel that she is being dragged into a war that she does not know about. Conspiracies and relationships are more complicated than ever. The relationship between Clare, Cole, and Kyle is no longer as simple as it used to be. With Victor's intrigue and warnings, the people involved can no longer live in the safety they once had. Every move they make could lead to major changes in the Newman family and affect their personal relationships. Clare and Kyle's love may be tested as they face outside forces. And Cole, despite his deep love for Clare, will not be able to avoid the heartache of realizing that his heart may be broken, as Victor predicted. Every decision Clare, Cole, and Kyle make will have a profound impact on their future in the Newman family. Complicated relationships and power struggles are never easy to navigate, and in the world of the young and the restless, things can change in an instant. Can Clare and Kyle's love survive this test, or will they find themselves in a war that neither of them wants to fight? The truth will soon be revealed, and when it does, everyone involved will have to face unforeseen consequences.